Do you know?
I drink a little, yes.
What's a little?
A few times a week, I'll have a few drinks.
I guess I'm trying to figure, sometimes people say a little and
Yeah.
a number of different things. For you, what does it mean?
I usually stop after 3 drinks.
You sent a number of text messages and you indicated you remember the last one. What was that text message?
He said, see how it feels to be used and not loved.
What time did that text message come?
I don't remember the exact timestamp.
When was the last time you went through those text messages?
Last year, probably the week after it happened,
Why haven't you gone back through them?
because it's hard. It's not something I want to relive. And I also don't know if I still have them.
Why do you say that?
Well, I have looked back through my phone, and they are not on the main contacts list.
Mr. Campbell's last text, were you able to interpret what it meant?
My interpretation was that he felt like maybe I had used him for that time that we had been together, and that he thought maybe his feelings were stronger than mine.
At some point, I guess, did you receive any phone calls from him that evening?
I don't recall if I had missed calls from him.
Did you return his texts or his calls?
I did. The next morning.
Why did you wait till the next morning?
Because of the time that I had gotten off of work, I assumed that he was probably asleep and that I would not get a response anyways.
Why would you have assumed he was asleep?
Just, I was off work by 11:30, and usually if I texted him after 10:30 or 11, he would usually text me back the next morning.
Do you know, I guess, when did you find out that Mr. Campbell was deceased?
I found out the next morning, I think it was around 11 a.m., 10:30 a.m. I don't recall the exact time.
Without going into anything anybody said, who did you find out from?
I found out from Aaron Vogt.
Aaron, his friend.
His friend, yes.
Mr. Campbell smoked cigarettes?
Yes, he did.
You know what brand?
Marlboro Lights.
Did you ever see Mr. Campbell, or I guess, how did he handle the cigarettes when he was done with them?
Most of the time he would put it out in an ashtray.
How else might he?
On occasion he would flick it off the side of the porch at our friend Aaron and Sean's, mostly to irritate Aaron.
How often did he smoke?
Towards the end he was cutting back. At one point he had told me that he had only had 1 cigarette the whole day, but leading up to that point, he would probably go outside once every hour or so.
Did he ever smoke inside?
No.
You said he was trying to cut back. What does cutting back mean?
Well, he wanted to eventually quit.
What was his process for that?
He was just trying to slowly eliminate 1 cigarette at a time and smoke a half a cigarette instead of a whole cigarette.
You say he would smoke half a cigarette. What do you mean?
He wouldn't smoke it down to the filter. He would just smoke part of it and put it out.
Do you know what Mr. Campbell's dominant hand was?
His left hand.
How do you know that?
I know that from my son wanting to learn to shoot his BB gun left-handed, and Stephen offered to teach him.
Do you recall speaking to any law enforcement officers about this case?
Yes, I do.
And in that conversation, did you, what numbers did you provide law enforcement with?
I don't recall those numbers at the moment.
I don't mean specifically, but did you provide them with numbers?
Yes.
And why did you provide them with numbers?
They were wanting the code to get into his phone, and I had his code that he was using for his taxes, so that he could log into his TurboTax. And I knew that some of the numbers were possibly the same as his phone code.
When you sent him messages back that morning, the 19th, what were your messages?
I remember saying that, and I don't remember exactly, and I know it had the context of, well, I really don't remember.
How large was Mr. Campbell?
He was a tall guy. I don't remember his exact height, but close to 6 foot, and stout.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Compared to you, how big was he?
He was big. I had to look up.
How often,
It's interesting because what the prosecution is doing, Judge, again, is they're sort of getting in front of some of these bad facts. And one of the ones, I don't know if you caught it, where they asked her about his habit of flicking a cigarette. And that's important because I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the video, right before the shooting, he flicks a cigarette. And in some circles, that can be considered an aggressive move.
Do you know why I caught it? It's because you reminded me of that. Because you even said last week that, you know, when they do that, that they're aggressive or mad or angry, and you can insinuate that they're going to do something. So it is interesting now. And you're right, preemptive strike. They're coming out and saying, we know what the defense is going to allege. We're going to put this out with this this witness.
Also 6 foot tall, and he's stout, so getting all that out in front. We'll take a break right now. When we come back, we'll find out exactly what the defense is going to do on cross, because cross-examination is next. Keep it here on Court TV.
Back to Montana now, where we are watching day 4 of the returned mail murder trial. Defendant Jordan Palmer is charged with deliberate homicide in the shooting death of Stephen Campbell.
Now, Palmer told police that he was trying to return a piece of lost mail when Campbell accused him of breaking into cars and then swung at him. And then Palmer shot and killed Campbell. Palmer's lawyers say that he fired in self-defense.
Let's get you back into the courtroom now. We're continuing to listen to the alleged victim's, good friend, also ex-girlfriend, on the stand describing what she says were text messages between her and the victim, but now she's on cross-examination.
Because I felt they were personal.
What was personal about them?
They were our private relationship, and also being the last time I spoke to him, I just didn't feel that they were anybody's business but my own.
Thank you. Ms. Cornell is going to have some questions for you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Ms. Cornell.
Hi, Marissa. My name's Bridget. I just have a couple of questions for you. This is a stressful situation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You don't want to testify.
No, I do not.
You were the last person to speak with Stephen.
Yes.
And when you were, prior to this trial, you had been contacted by police. Is that right?
Yes.
How many times did police call you?
I believe only the once.
So you spoke with one law enforcement officer?
Yes.
And that conversation was just on the phone?
Yes.
And it was about a 10-minute conversation?
Roughly, yes.
After that, the next time you heard from someone was when you were served with a subpoena? Right?
Yes.
And that was the defendant's subpoena, correct?
Yes.
And after you were served with the subpoena, you were subpoenaed by the state?
Yes.
Today you testified about quite a bit of information that you didn't share with Detective Martin, is that right?
I don't know.
Did you tell Detective Martin about the beginning of your relationship with Stephen?
I don't remember disclosing that information.
And you didn't tell him where Stephen lived?
No.
And you didn't tell him how you met, or about Aaron and Sean?
No.
And you didn't tell him about the good morning text?
I don't remember.
And you didn't tell him that you worked at the Rib and Chop house?
I don't recall.
But you spoke with him for about 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
And you told him that you and Stephen had been fighting off and on all day?
Yes.
That it was a heated conversation?
Yes.
That you were arguing?
Yes.
You told Detective Martin that both of you said things that you shouldn't?
Yes.
You told Detective Martin that, I think you said, I mean, if you guys ever get into his phone, I'm sure you'll see some lovely messages. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Was that sarcasm?
Yeah.
So they were really awful text messages.
On my part as well. I had sent some not very kind text messages.
So both of you were texting back. It was an argument.
If you want to call it that, yes.
Okay. You went to work at 4:30 p.m.
Yes.
and you weren't answering your text messages.
No.
So you were receiving information from Stephen but not responding.
Yes.
And he continued to communicate at you even though you were not responding.
Yes.
So how many text messages do you think you received between 4:30 and 11:30?
I don't know.
You also received missed phone calls from Stephen, isn't that right?
I don't recall.
Did you tell Detective Martin whether or not you?
I don't remember.
Would it refresh your recollection to review a transcript of your conversation with Detective Martin?
Yes.